Tell me a little bit about you.
Well, for those that don't know, I served 3.5 decades in the Army, culminating as the Sergeant Major of the Army. I grew up in a small town in Alabama and, spent most of my adult life in the Army. And then I transitioned to be the CEO of Army Emergency Relief, which I love. I love helping soldiers and their families. I love my job.
So, for you, being the senior enlisted person in the Army at one point to now you go into rooms with people, it's like, hey, Tony,
Yeah,
how is that for you?
it's awesome. I tell people is that, first of all, I love my job. I love being the CEO. But this is what I tell people. I said, you're trying to put me in a box I don't want to be in. I'm the first enlisted to ever be the CEO for AER. And when I go into a room with other CEOs, I want to be treated as a CEO, not as a sergeant major, because maybe I don't have a seat at the table. Most
Yeah.
people go, that's unheard of. But as a CEO, um, there's a lot of value in that. So I like being Tony. Plus, Tony's a lot nicer than the sergeant major in the Army. So yeah, it's great.
Okay. So you took over in mid 2023, or
Yeah, so actually one CEO of 1 January
when?
24.
Okay.
I got there in November 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that time since you've been there, what are some of the biggest things that you wanted to champion and wanted to get done?
Oh, I got a list, man. I'm still working on it. It's so many things that, well, first of all, we wanted to make sure that we just help soldiers and their families. So a lot of things, we've increased our grants. Last year, we had the highest dollar amount of grants we've had in the history of AER. So we gave away about a little over $13 million in grants, and you had 6.6 million in scholarships, so about 20 million. So the biggest goal was, and what I heard a lot of times, all you do is loans. I was like, well, yeah, we do 40 million in loans, but we also did $20 million in grants.
Okay.
So I wanted to make sure that people knew that there is a way when you need money that you would get it and not have to pay it back. So been pushing that, and a bunch of things that we did to do that. It wasn't just like give more money away, because anybody will take
Yeah.
it. But emergency travel was a big one. Last year in January, we said that's 100% grant. And believe it or not, it stems from my own story. My mother passed away when I was the Sergeant Major of the Army. And unfortunately, she passed on Army birthday.
Oh,
So I flew down there before she passed away. I got to see her, bought that plane ticket, got there, went home, got my family after she passed away, then flew back. Then on the way back, thunderstorm hits. I got to get a hotel because they wouldn't pay for that.
yeah.
And I just remember racking up all these bills, and I said, "How's the family going to do that? If you're not the Sergeant Major of the Army, how are you going to pay for all that?"
Yeah.
So I said, "Why don't we make that 100% grant?" So that's one of those things we changed last year. It's now 100% grant. So we changed a lot on how do we look at things and how we can help soldiers and their families.
Okay. So for you, over the past, what do you think the biggest barrier for young soldiers who would rather go, for instance, they would rather go sit through a safety brief than go try to learn about AER or try to understand it?
so, hopefully that's not the case. Safety brief or AER. So hopefully we're more exciting than that. I really think this is a stigma of asking for help.
Yeah.
Is that soldiers don't want to tell their chain of command that they need help. They don't want to tell them that they need behavioral health, and they don't want to tell them, hey, boss, I'm struggling financially.
Yeah.
So the number one thing for soldiers when they ask me when I do a soldier only event is, please don't tell my chain of command. And in the chain of command briefs, it's their number one thing is tell me everything that you help with AER. So I'm in this weird position. And you can't get assistance straight from AER without the chain of command. So there are ways to do that. So
Okay.
a lot of stigmatism into asking for help.
Okay. So the campaign, this campaign started March 1st, so just last week, and it runs all the way till when?
14 June, Army birthday.
I was about to say that's how was that picked or is that
It
just
is now. So we did. So a couple years ago, that was our idea. I think originally it was like 15 May,
okay?
and then we asked for extensions, and then the vice goes, "Why don't we just go to June, the 14 June?" Which yeah, it makes sense. Our birthday, so yeah,
Okay.
that's why we go.
Okay, coolio. So, is there anything else that you would want if a soldier's watching this video? It's March now, but if a soldier's watching this video in July,
Yeah,
what's the one thing that you would want a soldier to know about AER and going to get it?
yeah. I don't care when the campaign is. because this is what I want everybody to know about AERs. We're going to be here for you, 365 days out of the year. So the biggest thing is if you need financial assistance, don't be afraid to ask for help. Come to the building, go see, usually in ACS. We got plenty of folks that are over there in the building. We want to help you. So don't be afraid to ask for the help. And that's the number one, is knowing what we do to help soldiers. That's the one thing I wish everybody knew, is who we are and how we help soldiers and their families. Because most of the time I'll do these briefings and most people don't know what we do. And so I think there are a lot of people out there that are struggling. They put it on their credit card.
Yeah.
They, probably some kind of weird payday lender. It's not like you and I had, writing a check. It's I went in the app and asked for money.
Yeah.
And now I just get this money, but how do I pay that back?
Yeah.
And you can get it for 0 interest free for the AER. So number one, I wish everybody knew, is we are here to help you. Just please come in and find out how you can get help from Army Emergency Relief.
And so matter of fact, who all is eligible to get an AER loan?
Yeah. Active duty, Guard and Reserve, as long as they're on orders longer than 30 days.
Okay.
So we help all compos if you meet that criteria for everything you do with AER. Except this month, by the end of the month, we will help Army Reserve on a full-time status, regardless of how long they've been on orders.
Okay.
So that's brand new. It's going to happen this month. I just don't know what day this month. So
Okay.
I got a couple more weeks to work on it.
Okay.
So they'll be eligible for 3 areas, and it's only grants. If they need help with food, they need help with their utilities or transportation.
Okay.
And they fill out the form, and they're eligible to get that money for a grant, regardless if they're just 1 weekend a month status.
Okay.
And eventually, my goal is to add the National Guard at a full time too.
Okay.
I'm getting there. So we're going to do the Army Reserve first, and then our next big mission is to work on the National Guard.